Hello, my name is Olivia Francis. I'm a multi-award winning artist and songwriter living in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to What's Your Birthday and What Does It Mean? Sisters Jeri Isaacs and Donna Bernard, co-moderators of the popular Clubhouse Room, explore life's dynamics from their unique point of view based on the day you are born. Sponsored by NashvilleGuitarGuru.com and DearWiseWomen.com. Always fun, never disappoints. It's always in the cards.
Hi, Jeri.
Hey, Donna.
It's good to see you and to listen to you, continuing our conversation. That we started last week, our official talk radio.
Not 25 years ago. Now it's from last week. Wow.
Well, we've been
just took it a race to 25 years.
Well, you know what? Your lifelong dream was to be on the radio. So we're continuing the conversation for 25 years. But this is our second recording on talk radio.
Yes.
And we're welcoming our friend, our dear friend Carmen.
Yep.
That we met on the Clubhouse.
Absolutely.
And Jeri, tell us the story of the first day that Carmen came in.
Yeah, I was actually looking back, and I remembered. I'm a king of clubs. What can I tell you? I do take notes. Who would think it? Who would think it? I know that the first day we met Carmen was on June 15th, which happened to be a 2 of diamonds, Jack of spades, 7 of clubs day. And was that your sister's birthday?
She was June. I was calling about my granddaughter.
No, June 15th. Your sister is June 15th.
Correct.
And that's the day that we met you.
Okay.
Because I'm writing. I'm looking. We just talked about that a few minutes ago, and then that's the same cards. You came in on your sister's birthday.
Wow.
Who had similar cards to someone else you know. So, but anyway, I was looking to see when we met you, and the thing that I remember was that you were in Colorado, and I had just come back from Colorado, which was why that made such an impression on me, because I think I was like in Fort Collins, and I think that was not far from where you are, right?
Yeah, about 45 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and we did all the traveling all around that area, and I was very taken with it. And then here you come in, you're like, oh, my name's Carmen from Colorado, and I have that like in big letters, like Carmen from Colorado. But I also have that you're my first notes, children book author, and something about blindness and low vision. So we are going to want you to tell us those stories, because that was my first impression. But I knew that we had something, I don't know, there was something that triggered, we all seemed to get along. And then you just kept coming back, and we're like, wow, we really like Carmen. So we want you here with us.
And actually, it was kind of funny because you didn't come in for a few days. And, Jeri and I would talk after, our shows or nightly on the Clubhouse. And we were like, where's Carmen? And it was kind of funny because we were like, people come and they go and they come back. Everybody comes back. And then you come back and you said, I'm sorry, I was on vacation. I missed you girls. And we're like, oh, thank God she's back.
I went to Indiana, went on the lake house.
To Indiana, where my son lives. Yes. There's so many, much between all of us that's makes sense, though. It really makes sense why we all get along, right?
Yes, it's most definitely is.
Well, but Carmen, you were coming into our room several times. One time, of course, after we missed you, you had said something about, well, you had to leave early because you were going to be on your own show. You were being interviewed as a children's book author. And I said, we remembered you were a children's book author, but we really didn't know, much, we really didn't know about you as much as, just coming to our room and what's your birthday and your children and your husband with 2 Ks. And and Jeri and I said afterwards we're pretty tired,
Yes.
We were like, let's go back, let's go listen to Carmen's room. And Jeri was like, okay, I'm going to be in the audience, I'm not going to say anything. I said, okay, Jeri, okay. So we get into the room, and then you started talking about, you can tell us what you were talking about, Carmen.
Because we don't remember. No, we do.
We do, well,
You
it's
remember which, ladies, I have to say, when I saw you in the room, I went, oh my gosh, to see them there, that was so neat. So yes, I was there with the author Q&A, and the question came up, how did I become a writer? Was I always wanted to be a writer? And actually, no, I didn't. That was not on my cards. I didn't think at the time, as we say the cards, no pun intended. Anyways,
but we'll explain why you are.
right, exactly. So
Because it's always in the cards.
yeah, so my quest was to find some information about my son, who was I'll just do back from my origin. Is the quest was because my son was born legally blind in one eye. In order to strengthen his eye, he had to patch his stronger eye in order to force his eye, to work, basically to tell the brain, turn on. So on my quest to doing that, I had to do some searching on the eyes. And when I did that, I found this wonderful nonprofit organization called Foundation Fighting Blindness. And I decided to go ahead and join them after going to one of their symposiums, became the president of the Denver chapter for the Foundation Fighting Blindness for 11 years. I just stepped down a couple of years ago, even though I'm still on there. Anyways, with the eye patching, I decided to write 3 books, Patchland Adventures. I made a promise to my son that that's what I was going to do. And I saw that, it was really helping a lot of kids. Because it gave them some hope that they can do anything they want to do. It just might be a little different, but they can do it. So that's how I started my quest. And
I have to say, so Jeri and I were in the audience. By that time, I had raised my hand and I was on stage because I had the chills, because my nephew's daughter has a challenge with one of her eyes as a young baby, and has to wear the patch and is struggling with that.
Mhm.
And here,
But we weren't sure at that point, but we assumed that.
But we didn't know she was struggling, but
Right,
we knew she had
we knew she had to wear a patch. And we learned from Carmen what the struggle would be.
Mhm.
That's right. And our bonus dad, who's in heaven and who passed a few years ago, and our oldest brother Bruce passed. We lost him too soon. This was his granddaughter. And the next day, or maybe that night, I sent a note to Matt if this was a challenge or a struggle for him. And he said, yes, it is. Oh my God.
Times, yeah.
And then I talked to him about, meeting you and the Patchland books. And we sent him the books. He said, anything that helps. I said, well, this is a family issue. And Carmen, we sent the books, but you also sent a teddy bear with a special patch on it. So, you were,
Oh, so cute.
so many things happen in our room that it's hard to explain the clubhouse. But the other story I'd like you to share was the other night when there were a few blind people in the room, which we didn't know. And you were able to give some really great advice to them. And this is, when we're in our clubhouse room and we can have 100 people, but 20 are on the stage talking, and we're in kind of this community conversation. Share with us how you helped this one woman and another.
Yes. So there was a couple, I believe, in that, or 2 or 3 in that evening. But just the other evening, there was a lady. She was struggling quite a bit, and you could tell her spirits were very low. She felt very lost. Didn't feel like a sense of community, any support. She was searching. That's why she was in the room. She was trying to find that connection somehow. So I was able to give her some information and some inspiration. And as you knew, by the end of the conversation, her whole tone of voice was completely different. And I also was able to give her some guidelines on where to go for certain support and to find that sense of community. And one of them was the Foundation Fighting Blindness, which I think she's going to, she can use, they show all these different apps, and there's so many. It's like I told her, there's so much cutting edge technology right now. There's a lot of hope out there. Go out there, go support go make a team, go on the vision walk, do whatever it is that you need to do to meet other people. And that's what she needed to do. And to know that there was other like-minded people out there and very successful at that.
Yeah.
In the room. And there was
Yeah.
someone in the room, but I
Exactly.
don't know if we knew that night or the next day. Wasn't that woman?
No, we knew that night too.
We did know that night, who was very impressed with your advice to her, because she surprised us. I don't think she was blind, but she was involved.
No, she was not.
But she was involved for many, many years, and she was very impressed with you. And
Thank you.
it really was. We can read cards and interpret cards, and I know, like, some of the stuff I was telling her was somewhat off base, because she had such much more of a challenge than I would know. A lot of times people do that. They don't really. Sometimes I'll say, "What do you have health problems?" And someone might say, "Well, yeah, I guess I'm blind," and I'll be like, "Okay, that does make a difference," and it sort of makes you you can interpret the cards so many different ways. And I think some of the things I was saying to her might have not helped as much as you did that night.
But I have to interrupt you for a second, Jeri, because before Carmen, we started a while ago, and there was someone in the room, and Jeri said, "You must be
Gentleman."
No, it was a woman. It was before you. She said, "You must like to travel or move around or just change the furniture in your house."
I was just giving an example of someone else who was a 5 of spades, not someone who was blind, but someone who was restless, who moved around. And I said, this one person said, I couldn't go anywhere, but I moved the furniture around. And then this poor girl said, "It's like a blind person's nightmare."
Yes, they'll say that. And that's what I love, their sense of humor. They're in a good space. They've accepted it, and they're out there being loving and joining different groups. So that's when they can say things like that and, bring that laughter into much needed conversations for sure.
It amazes me. I think one of our other blind women in the room had made plans with a man, another blind man, to meet them, and I'm like, she was going to pick him up. Something. I was like, how did they do all that? And she was going to make dinner. We never found out what happened with that, did we?
No. Well,
she'll come back.
She was in the room. That's right. She was in the room the other night, but we didn't get a chance to talk to her, because I just remembered that story just now.
Yeah. And just like that young man from Malaysia, because as you ladies know, you speak to everybody around the world. It's a global family, I'm telling you. And he's from Malaysia, and he is also not non-sighted. So yes, I was able to back channel him as well.
That blew me away, because we spoke to him many nights, and he did not say one thing about.
No, and I knew it in a few minutes. Yes.
And I had said, please video FaceTime with someone. And I had also said, he should.
Oh no, they do different things nowadays.
And I said, you should definitely learn how to code, because he was looking for. He's a brilliant.
I bet you they learn how to code. I bet you they know how. We just don't know.
It's amazing what they do. You'd be very surprised. Very talented. Like I said, Mrs. World has retinitis pigmentosa. Many brilliant authors and lawyers and I mean, it's.
And I didn't tell you, Carmen, but my roommate in college, that was a while ago, but she was she was affiliated with the Jewish Federation for the Blind in New York.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
Ellen Tree.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Ellen Benson, who became Ellen Tree. Yeah. And I haven't spoken to her in so many years, but when I think of people being blind, I think of her, because that's what she did for no reason other than that was, what she decided to specialize in. But
That's interesting.
it's another
Yes.
connection that we have. Carmen and all of us, we have a lot of interconnection, little things that in our lives that connect.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's why it's always in the cards. And I guess that's a perfect segue into
Time for a commercial break.
time for a commercial break, and to segue in.
I think that we're going to play some music from one of our, maybe from Olivia. I think we're going to play something from Olivia, who's our announcer, who's a very dear friend. So let's hear Olivia, some of her song. Okay? We'll be
Yes.
right back.
A field of flowers, prism skies, with lace like clouds. Feel the grass between my toes, and nobody's around but you. You're in my daffodil dreams, got my world glowing. You're magic to me, 'cause I'm so high up off the ground, with yellow sparkles falling down in my daffodil dreams. Ooh, 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 daffodil dreams. A little lemon-colored house.
That was beautiful. That is our friend Olivia Francis. Beautiful song. By the way, Donna, she is a old soul, really an old soul. She's a 9 of clubs and a double 9 of spades. And she is the wisest young person I think that I know. And she co-wrote that song with a friend, Lori McComb. And Lori would be her mother's age probably. And she is younger than both of our children. But she's very wise. Lori's lovely. And the two of them got together. I guess they met at one of Dave's events, National Guitar Guru, and they have written some songs, and this is one of the beautiful ones that she wanted to share with us, and hope everyone enjoyed it. They can hear the rest of it. You can find Olivia Francis all over, wherever you can find your music, Spotify and every music platform she's on. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we will be featuring other women in music, maybe not only from Nashville, maybe from all over. We will see.
So Jeri, Carmen, and we discovered we have a lot in common. However, Carmen's in Colorado, Jeri's in Nashville, and I'm in New Jersey. Actually, Jeri and I are sisters who grew up in New York. And Carmen, Jeri, and I, we all have daughters in their 30s. So we thought it would be kind of a fun conversation to talk about mothers and their daughters, since during the early days of the pandemic, and many days, mothers would come in with their daughters to understand, or daughters would bring, remember the two daughters that brought the mother in?
Right.
They were like,
Yes,
we're
I
bringing
remember
our
their
mother
names.
back.
Yes. The mother
We're
was
bringing-
cool, though.
The mother was, right, they're like, oh, she's terrible, she's this, she's that. They
She's
didn't
very
say
cool.
terrible.
Right.
They didn't say she was terrible, but this is a
Mhm.
challenge for them. And the
Right.
mother came in, she was so cool.
Right.
But so there's that theme. So we thought it would be kind of fun because and we're all in 3 different time zones. So Carmen in Colorado, Jeri in Nashville, and I'm here on the East Coast with 3 daughters in our 30s. So let's see what the
Crazy.
cards have to say, because it's always in the cards.
Always.
Right, Jeri? It's always in the cards. And you might want to talk about that too. Yes,
Let me
Carmen?
ask you ladies a question.
Of
You
course.
ready for this?
Oh,
Sure.
no. What are you going to ask us?
Oh,
Stop.
I don't,
What?
we never know.
Okay, so if you could, okay, there's going to be 2 condiments that you can pick up, okay? Explain how your daughter is with two condiments. So basically, My daughter's personality, I would say, is organic, raw honey, and hot sauce. A little sweet, a little spicy. That would be my daughter. So how about you, ladies?
Ooh.
Come on, you get two.
All right, well, my daughter, I will say, is hot sauce
Okay.
and very hot sauce with chili peppers. And I love her dearly.
Little caliente.
I
Okay.
love her dearly.
That's cute. That's cute.
I don't know. We got some hot women here. You know, like the first thing that came to my mind, and something I would ever use, is Tabasco. I guess that must be a hot sauce. And then I was thinking of salsa because it just reminds me of her. So Tabasco and
does not-
salsa. She's not
does
really
dance.
mayonnaise. She's not a mayonnaise person. No mayo.
No
She's hot.
mayo, no
She's hot.
ketchup.
But no,
No.
you know what? But she's salsa because, boy, she can dance.
Yes.
See?
And boy, she could take a picture.
Yeah,
I'm
my
not
little
sure what you
caliente daughter too. So that's funny. So our daughter's in her 30s, and that's cute. They all have a little hot sauce in them.
a lot or
A little
varying
spicy.
degrees of hot sauce, but I'm sure they're all, they're other.
Oh, I
they're
can't wait to
friends with-
dive in. I
Oh,
can't
it's always
wait.
in the cards.
Let's see if we have any similarities here.
Mm.
So just as a point of reference, dearwisewomen.com is where we will actually post the chart for this episode, for this discussion. So you'll go to Dear Wise Women, the talk radio, we have a menu, and
Okay.
you pull down on the menu, down table of contents, and there'll be the talk radio. And when you see the tab, it'll have the latest episode with the chart, so that we're talking about mothers and daughters, mothers with their daughters, featuring Carmen and Jeri and Donna, the sisters from the clubhouse. What's your birthday and what does it mean? And dearwisewomen.com.
Yes.
So let's go, Jeri. What do we see?
What do we see? Well, where are we going to start? Let's start really brief recap of you and I, and then should we just do the moms first?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do the
Let's do
let's
us
do the
first.
moms.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, Donna, really quickly, Donna, you're 4 diamonds, which is that hardworking person who works hard and doesn't take for granted what they get. And then you're 2 of spades, which is that friendship card. Good friend, always a friend, friendly. Could have some health problems, but no, you don't. You keep it away, which is good. Knock on wood. Hang on, I'm knocking. And 10 of clubs, that mental accomplishment, smart. She's a smart cookie. I don't know why she believed my mother when my mother told her that I had a high IQ.
But you know what? I never thought I had a low IQ. We just always said Jeri had the high IQ. So it was really funny. Well, Jeri has
Be
a high
more
IQ.
like your sister, my dad used to say.
No, but later on in life, when I said to my mother, Mom, you always said Jeri had the high IQ. She goes, she does. And then it was like,
Why is that such a surprise?
no, but she never got what I was trying to say was like, but she never said that we didn't have low IQs.
Okay.
It was just, she was very
Okay,
proud
so
of
let's
your
just
high
try to figure this out. So now
Okay.
I'm a king of clubs, the brilliant master of knowledge. 2 of spades, which was the friendship card. So Donna and I connect like that with the card. And I have a 4 diamonds, which I was surprised the heck out of me, as my 3rd card. So Donna and I really have 2 of the same exact cards. And my king of clubs and her 10 of clubs are very similar. I mean, one is the master of knowledge and the other is like a mental accomplishment. Personally, if I had a choice, I think the 10 of clubs might be a little easier to handle because they don't get overthink things the way a king of clubs, who wants to be perfect, who needs everything to go just so. as I think, Carmen, as you see when we talk to some of the people in the room, and I'll go, "Oh, you're king of clubs," you know.
Yes.
Does it bother you if a comma is missing? And everyone says the same thing, right?
Yeah,
It's like, oh
they
my
do.
God, you know, it holds you back. So, but our
But the
cards are
fun-
very the
but the-
same.
But neither one of us have a heart.
Yeah.
No, but now Carmen,
I have all the hearts, right?
you have the
You
hearts.
do, you do.
But
Oh,
Carmen's
okay.
but Carmen's the seven of clubs, and you know, seven of clubs is that spiritual knowledge card. And you know, she has two nine of hearts, so the double nine of hearts. So Carmen's all her cards are spiritual. And what it would tell me about Carmen when I look at it is that, well, she had to work probably in her life to become a very positive person, because seven of clubs sometimes that's their challenge. They have to get over that, get past it, and but once they do, they're very smart, and they're smart, and they have so much ability to do so many different things. Probably need a purpose, and which you found when when your son was born. And then she has a double nine of hearts, and that's like the giver. That's someone who wants to help people. That's like it becomes their mission, which is perfect because she had something. I mean, that pulled her right to that mission. So when her husband, you know, your son was born with the problem, like not everyone would do that. Not everyone was going to go like
Yeah.
become a, you know, the president of the
Yeah.
chapter in Denver, or write books. You know, it was more than your son having a problem. It was like you're going to help him, and then you're going to help everyone else also. And that's where I say the spiritual part of it is, and it's a really beautiful thing. So I mean, I think that just we have a natural affinity for in a lot of different ways between us. Um, but the interesting thing is when we look at our daughters, each of us with our daughters, and how the relationships we have with our children are really, it's even more unique, right?
I like the way we all giggled when you said the relationships with our daughters.
So to speak,
Well,
whatever,
women.
whatever you know, mothers and daughters, right? I mean,
That's right.
boy, this is going to be me talking a lot. So maybe Donna can tell us a little about her daughter, Jessica, who's a two of diamonds and a double six of diamonds. What does that say to you, Donna?
Well, okay, so this is really interesting because my daughter, and obviously Jessica's, Jeri's daughter, Allison, they're first cousins. And they grew up, even though they were, 9 years apart, they were very close. So it was
8 years,
interesting.
but who's counting?
8 years, 8 years. So while Jess is a two of diamonds, six of diamonds, and six of diamonds, Allison, who Jess always says is like the smartest person, is a queen of clubs, and then is that double three of diamonds. So it's interesting to me that, you know, Jess is that double six of diamonds, and Allison is that double three of diamonds. And I'm sure I'm not ready to hear all of their stories when they would go to Florida together. I just remember one time Jessica saying to me, you know, every year, because she was, you know, young, when are they, like she always said she was 19. When are they going to realize I'm not 19 4 years in a row or something like that?
Same guys. It was
Hey,
funny.
I'm not ready to hear quite everything, but you know, Jess is incredibly smart and talented, and she can be that we say wheeler dealer, but that you know, shrewd operator. I think that speaks volumes to who she is. And I'm excited to see where she goes in her life, because, you know, this is a part of her journey. And the six of diamonds, you know, means to me that financial responsibility and the importance of making sure you are financially stable and secure. And maybe you have to learn those lessons of when you're not to be. So yeah, I'm very close to my daughter. We have a very unique relationship. and and I look forward to her journey. But I see the connection of how close she would be with Jeri's daughter, Allison, who's my niece, and how growing up, I was very close to Allison because Allison loves the arts, which we shared, and I would often take Allison to the museums together. So I'm a 4 of diamonds, and she's that 3 of diamonds, and that double 3 of diamonds. And then, so I could see the connection. So I could say that Allison is brilliant and embrace the warrior in her, not the warrior, which she embraces the warrior probably every single day because there's nothing she can't do. And, and then when we look at Carmen's daughter, which we'll talk about, she's an 8 of clubs, a Jack of spades, and an 8 of hearts. So it'll be interesting, Jeri. So when you go through what all of this means, it's interesting. And Carmen is a 7 of clubs, and her daughter, Kayla, I want to say it right,
Yeah.
is an 8 of clubs. So they're a 7 and 8, and they're both clubs. And then they have that Carmen has that double 9 of hearts, and then she has a Jack of spades, but then she has that Ace of hearts. So there's a lot of hearts in Carmen's life. And Jeri, we don't have hearts with our daughters either.
What? And I have a double hearts, and my daughter has one. That's great. I bet you heard my granddaughter. I know we did her too. We'll have to do that other time, but that's really interesting.
It is, Jeri.
So one other
go,
thing I would
Jeri.
say, I would just, it was really great what you said. As far as Allison, your 10 of clubs and her queen of clubs relate really well together too.
Yes.
And when I look at that and I'm looking on my writing, it's like I see that queen of clubs, 10 of clubs connection. I also see Allison as a queen of clubs impatient driver for sure.
Yes.
Like she might be the number 1 queen of clubs. But she's a good driver, but I would say she's impatient.
And I'm sure that Jessica would probably agree because God knows about some of their trips driving together in Florida. We don't
can
want
only
to know.
know based on what I used to do. What they must be doing was way, way bad. And in any event,
But Jeri, also look at your connection with Jess, because you have a connection with Jess as well, with the 2s and the diamonds.
4 diamonds, 6 diamonds. I mean, Jessica and I connect not as much as you and Allison, though. Which is true. I mean, Allison and you were like, she was the only one who shared your enthusiasm to take all those long walks and go to the museums and stuff. She loved that. She loved to be with Aunt Donna for that reason. Mommy, no, I didn't do that. I was not that person. But it's interesting. And, also how I never really looked at it this way, but Allison and I are king of clubs, queen of clubs, which is when we talk about the spiritual chart, Carmen, a lot of times the cards that sit next to each other, the suits, they're laid out from, the Ace of Hearts to the King of Hearts. They just go up in all the suits. So the King of Clubs and the Queen of Clubs sit right next to each other. It's a big spiritual connection. I also see a 4 of diamonds and a 3 of diamonds with my daughter. So that's another spiritual connection. If I had known her in a past life, why would I have asked her to be born to me? I'm only kidding. She won't listen to this, I promise.
Mine will.
Our biggest fan is my daughter, Jessica. She's
right.
When
she's in the right, she does love listening to us. And she has listened, but my daughter hasn't. But so now when I look at Carmen, that 7 of clubs and her daughter 8 of clubs, that is also the same type of connection, spiritual connection, right next to each other on the chart. So you've got that right there. So Donna and Jess, they're like one like one card apart, 4 diamonds, 2 diamonds. But it's interesting how all of us have this this
Spirit,
first
yeah.
card connection with our daughters.
Yeah.
And the Ace of Hearts, like, remind me, did your daughter sell real estate or something with real estate? Because that's what I have written down.
Yes, she does real estate. Correct.
So she is a sales pro.
She's a
broker?
powerhouse. Yes.
Oh, is she? Okay.
She can, yes. I mean, she can do financial books she's very organized, very, she's a great communicator, great heart. Yes.
Sounds like she's got that 8 of clubs person
It's that
personality.
eight
That's
of-
that mental power.
Yes.
She sounds like she's got that all over her. And that Jack of Spades is it's like the actor or the artist type of card. But I mean, it's really about telling stories. And are you going to tell a story that someone basically believes and be honest or not? And a really great salesperson, like even real estate, would take someone into a home or whatever, and they would be able to paint such an amazing picture of that person living in that home. I'm sure she like completely lays it out like that and is able to make a sale, because that Jack of Spades really helps her out in that, for her creativity in that area.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Is she connected? Does she have like a spiritual side to her?
Yeah, she does.
Because that's also a very highly spiritual card.
Yeah,
So
I think
she's
that's what
got
her connection
and-
is with me.
And spiritual doesn't mean religion, right, Jeri? Just
no.
clarify when you say that.
Yes.
It could be either or, probably.
It's not. No, spirituality it's nothing to do. When I talk about it, it's nothing to do with
The way
religion.
we speak about it.
Right. She has that connection with me. She has that connection. Absolutely.
But even with the world, I mean,
Yep.
that's who she is.
Yep.
In the way she thinks about things. I mean, someone who's a Jack of Spades is going to have a different perspective on life, and all the decisions she makes are going to be a little different than, they're not motivated only for money. I don't think she does it only for money.
No,
I mean, even though she probably makes good money.
She's definitely motivated to make money, to help support the family, of course, and do her part. But yes, I mean, this absolutely fits a lot about her. And like I said, I can't say enough about my daughter and her kind heart. And she's very sincere. I mean, she goes to a food bank weekly, and she takes my granddaughter every Tuesday. She's just that kind of person. She's, before we did this, she goes, "You got it." She's always your best cheerleader. So now tell me, Jeri, where's that salsa or that hot sauce that she has that other side of her?
That, you know what, that 8 of clubs, all right, your 7 of clubs makes you very, very smart, spiritual, getting over the pessimism, very optimistic. So you're the optimistic person, but that 8 of clubs makes her like very fixed. Like,
yeah.
Like, I know what this is, and Mom, you just must be stupid. I mean, I'm not sure if she says it to
Mom,
you, but
I got this.
I got it, because she's got
I'm
that.
the parent.
Well, luckily, at this point she is, and she's old enough to say that and to feel that. But that 8 of clubs is a very strong card. The 8's a very strong. That's like the power number. There's a lot of power, so all her power is in her mind. And that Jack of Spades helps her with whatever she's doing to whether she's selling or talking to someone. She's able to use that. She must have a really great imagination and creativity. But the Ace of Hearts is what makes her that little bit of honey.
Oh, so the Ace of Hearts, the honey. Got it. Okay,
I mean,
and
that's
7
the
of
sweetness.
clubs. Okay,
What?
so the 7 of clubs and the 8 of clubs. I'm the 7 of clubs and she's the 8 of clubs. That's a spiritual.
It's a spiritual connection between the two of you.
Got it.
But in terms of who you are, you're not the same person.
Right.
Okay, so like she's got this really strong personality, and yours is a little more gentle, I would think. Between your 2 9 of hearts, I must say,
Okay.
it might not be the right word, gentle, but it's like a little more
Open-hearted.
Open heart.
Yes.
Okay, open heart. That's a good word for 2 9 of hearts.
I think so. There's an
But
open heart.
did you suffer with a lot of pessimism when you were younger? Did you have to get past that, or were you like Miss Optimistic in our clubhouse? Remember the real optimist we had?
We had an actress. Actually, she is on Broadway. Erin. She's in one of the shows on Broadway, and she's like, I've always known that about myself. So I am just so positive that I'm going to get every role, and if I don't, it's okay. And I'm always, she was.
Yeah, not me so much. I can overthink a lot. I'm an overthinker, and sometimes I have to find that confidence in myself. So absolutely.
Right. But I don't think your daughter's like that.
Not as much. No, she's pretty. And when I was younger, though, I mean, I was pretty much go for it. But I still had that reserve, even though I was, say, modeling at the time, I still was very self-conscious and, am I going to get this role? Am I not going to get this role? So I still struggled with that a little bit, but eventually you find your niche and
well, we all grow up. I mean, so we all had to mature and grow up and
evolve. We evolve.
Wow. What a unique.
Well, it is because when somebody says, "Well, you said this years ago," and I go, "Well, you know what? I've learned a lot since then." And
you do.
And if we don't, then shame on us if we just say, well, that's the way it was on this day. And, no, we evolve, we see things from a different point of view. And I think that's what we're doing in our clubhouse, because we have so many people come in, men and women, and they're struggling because, Jeri and I have talked about this for years. The day you were born sets your personality. And then you have the dynamics of this family you're born into without a handbook. And, and people think, well, this is what my sibling did to me 20 years ago or 10 years ago. And, we're not talking. And I'm like, but both of you have evolved since then. So maybe you can have a different conversation because, you don't have to, because you change. You grow up. You grow up. And it's really interesting. And I think that's why the cards, and I think that's why our room resonates with so many people, because they come in and we have an open heart and we have great conversations. We're able to laugh and chuckle at things. And as Carmen knows, as Jeri and I know, you never know what we're going to say.
No.
And there's no 2 days are alike. And, but it's always in the cards and the dynamics. So thank you for joining us today, Carmen, because you're part of our team.
Thank you.
We love having you on as a co-mod with us in our crazy fun rooms each night.
It is so fun. Well, like you said, these cards aren't 100. I mean, we can't say it's 100% right, because nothing's 100%. It sure is fun, and you're pretty good at this. And Donna, what you said is you were going to say, you would tell me later in our conversation, where's the creative part? Because you even pick up on that too, just from your cards that you ladies do. You said my creative part. So you showed my spirituality, my heart on how I give back so much, and how I continue to write books. Is that part of the cards that I didn't stop?
Oh,
it's part of 7 of clubs.
And that is so apparent. We talk to people, well, you're very creative, and then they're, and even our mom, we show her card. She's a very creative card, and we're like, really? Because we just never thought of it that way. And we walk in our home, and there are all of these handmade, beautiful needle points.
Wow.
And all these handmade, beautiful, different, art pieces. And we're like, she really was very creative. So it means different things, whether you're writing a children's book, you're also having the looking at the artwork, so it tells the right story. Right. You're making patches for the bears, and I'm sure there's things that you do. I know you do all things on the farm, and you go do creativity can be creating. It means so many. It doesn't mean you're an artist. You're an artist in many ways. And
my daughter does the same thing on the farm too. She has her cows, her ducks, her chickens, and that's her creative card too.
And that Jack of Spades has all of that in there.
See, so that's amazing how you ladies have been doing this for what, over 20, 25 years? And you've been mastering it. And I'm just sitting back going, now I get that. You're so right. When they said, well, I don't know if you'll be able to get my birthday. And I said, give her a moment. Just give them a moment. Keep coming back. And they do.
We usually figure it out.
Keep coming back. They love it. They love it.
I love when women and men come back because they've chosen the wrong mate, or they're departing a relationship. And then they're saying, okay, before I'm even going to talk to this person or date this person, can I give you their birthday?
We told someone to run yesterday, right?
Yes, it's the new one. Should she stay or should we go? And it's been a hit.
Right. But we told someone to run. We did, right?
Turn around, look at the door, and run.
I think that was the second time, really, that we told someone to run.
And it was for different reasons, because when you get to talk things out and you hear them, when you hear them, you say it out loud, it becomes real. It's just, and then you speak it to this open room and these people with an open heart. It's just, it's very, self-assuring that they're making the right decision, not, because some people can stay too long and then it just becomes destructive. And it's, we're trying to, it's a big world and everyone's a part of it. And, how can we change the world? Well, in our little way, it's helping people understand their own person and their own, who they are and how they participate in their daily journey, and seeing things from a different and a unique point of view.
I think one of the things I just have to say really quickly, that one of the things I really like is when we tell someone, well, you should you should be good in business. And they're like, well, I've been thinking about that. I'm like, no. But if you decide to go forward, I hope you have confidence now that you can do it. Mm-hmm. Giving people confidence to act on some of the things that they've been thinking about, or to stop, that they're not going to be successful at that. And it may, really, I think it's great. I mean, I've always used it in planning the things I do over the past bunch of years. So, and Donna does also. So, the cards, person who I learned from said they're always right. If there's something wrong, we interpreted it wrong.
And it's funny because people who come in with a passion, we say, well, make it your side hustle until it can be your main hustle. And I think Jeri and I don't even know if we ever use those words, side hustle, till someone came in our room and said, well, my side hustle is. And then we're like, oh, there's a side hustle. And then there was someone else, another woman, I forget what she was saying, but I just said, listen, I think that you should go into the rooms on Clubhouse and improv and speak and work some of the things out, because there's a lot that you can do for yourself. Going into the Clubhouse is like going into like a giant mall of America, of the world, mm-hmm. and finding the rooms that will fill your soul, or you can find your voice is really important. And sometimes you just have to say to someone, look, where you're going is the wrong direction, turn right and go into a different direction. And maybe you could work out in improv how you tell your story. And we've done that too.
Yeah. You both have. Absolutely.
With kindness.
I can't understand what you two do, as in me personally doing it, but it's not for me to do that, because that is not, what I'm here to do. However, as you ladies said, I was a good fit to help you with the moderating and able to give certain advice out at certain times. So that's really neat. You ladies are amazing. So
we love having you.
Thank you. With your blogs that you do too. You do a lot. You do this voluntarily. You have people coming back because you give them a a sense of community and belonging as well. And we have met so many amazing people. I love them. I love seeing certain faces. You get excited to see them. You're like, oh, so-and-so's here.
Right,
so
I know.
It's a great group, ladies.
Isn't it fun? It's really fun.
And you know what? And now I heard in another room, oh, you're in the listening section. So now when people come in and I know they just want to listen, I go, you're in the listening section. And they're like, yes, we can just take a seat and listen. Because so many people have come in and say, well, I'm just at work and I like to listen to like the radio. Or we had someone say, I plan my drive times when I know you're on the Clubhouse because I just listen. And so with that said, I think we're ready for a wrap.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
Yeah, I think Jeri, we just did your second.
Our second
radio
show is a wrap, I think.
No, it's a wrap. Carmen.
Thank you, Carmen, for joining us, and we will see everyone next week, same time, same channel.
Yes.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we love you, Carmen.
Say goodbye.
Okay. Good night, everyone, or goodbye, or
goodbye. Peace out. Peace out.
Maybe we should do peace out.
Peace
out.
No,
you do peace out. You do peace out, and I will say it was very nice meeting you, and I look forward to.
I'm peace out because I'm the hippie. Peace out.
My daughter's a hippie too. It's like I always do peace out though too. My granddaughter and I were like,
you know what? And I'm going to do. It was really nice meeting you, and I'll follow up with an email because that's who I am.
Thank you for listening to What's Your Birthday and What Does It Mean? Please join Donna and I here at Reset Talk Radio every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Central Time. You can also join our discussion on Clubhouse in our club, What's Your Birthday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Also, please visit DearWiseWomen.com and read, follow, and share as we take a fresh look at people in the news. This program is intended for entertainment purposes only.
A field of flowers, prism skies with lace like clouds. Feel the grass between my toes and nobody's around but you. You're in my daffodil dreams, got my world glowing. You're magic to me, 'cause I'm so high up off the ground with yellow sparkles falling down in my daffodil dreams. Ooh, 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 daffodil dreams. A little lemon colored house with us on the porch, and we'd watch the golden sunset turn into millions more. So endlessly, you're in my daffodil dreams, got my world glowing. You're magic to me, 'cause I'm so high up off the ground with yellow sparkles falling down in my daffodil dreams. Ooh, 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 daffodil dreams. Oh, everything's blossoming just like my heart for you.